Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to be joined by my friend and business partner, Mr. Michael Vincent, Mr. Podcaster Extraordinaire. We do these shows on sales growth. And the big one for today, we're going to be talking about how to use media to drive sales growth. How are you doing today, Michael?
Doing fantastic. I just noticed that, I'm like, a waxing gibbous or something here. I've only got like half of my face lit up, but apology. Most people can only handle half my face, anyways. So
Well,
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I've got a face made for radio, so
Yeah,
um,
it's a good thing we're logistics experts and sales experts and not lighting experts.
that's true. That's true. Yes, absolutely. No, things are really good. I always have fun doing these shows. Driving revenue growth. We're working with the companies, and we've been with some for years, and it's been really, really good. But media is a big
Yeah.
part of it. Media is a big
Yep.
part of what we're doing internally and with clients as well. So we were going to give some tips today, and we've got 5 key tips for you guys out there and gals
Ooh. We're
looking
going to give away 5 of them for free.
5 freebies today.
Okay. I wasn't consulted, but I guess that'll be good.
Actually, I did talk with you offline before.
You did. I know I'm lying.
Oh man. But number one, so it kind of sounds simple, but it's really important. Locate the best podcasts for your guest appearances and the best industry articles for your guest commentary, right? Um, so let's just say, for example, say you're an education platform telling freight brokers how to sell more, right? You probably want to be on a channel targeting freight brokerages, right? We're going to do some good, bad, and ugly today. I'll tell you an example. Early 2018 or so, I started on this journey to use video to
Mhm.
drive sales.
Yeah.
And I got invites and I got onto some shows. And one of them, for example, was digital analytics, data, right? And yeah, we use data. Data is a really important part of what we do with clients, like the targets, the
Sure.
industries. There's a lot there, right? So I thought, hey, I'll
Sure.
go on there and talk about that. Their audience, though, was digital analytics managers and business intelligence people,
Yeah. They weren't your audience that might be interested in how you utilize data. They were data people.
right? And I thought
Oops.
afterwards, I was like, that probably wasn't the best use of my time, nor maybe theirs either. So don't do that, right? Don't do that. If you're selling to trucking fleets, get on shows that talk to fleet executives, right?
That sounds really obvious.
It does, but I see these shows and people come on, and it's really not the right target audience, to be honest. So here at GreenPath Tech, we have a collaboration platform. It
Right.
is to move the freight industry forward, right? We have
Yep.
focused on founder, owner, C level. That's our top 3 demographics. Um, and it's shippers, carriers, and tech providers. We're working to help the industry move forward, right? And we've been focused on that for years and years. And we just keep
Correct.
building on that. But again, if you're not targeting shippers, carriers, or tech providers at the C level, maybe you have a platform that teaches 101 trucking, right? Trucking
Right.
101.
Right. 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 Right.
This
Right.
is
Right.
not the channel for that. And
This
there's a
is not this is not the channel for that. No, not at all. You're 100% right. I mean, my like the demographic you just described is like 75% of my followers on LinkedIn. I've got like 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, and you just described like I think 72, 73% of them is
right.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, Over the last, man, when did LinkedIn start? Because I've been on it from the very beginning. So I've been building it from the very beginning, these people, and building and building and building. So yeah, it is all about that. And what you speak to is I said obvious, but I mean it's it's that little extra that you don't get done because you're lazy or you don't have the time, or it's just this is not your expertise. Marketing and media is not your expertise. if you're one of these executives. You need somebody who is an expert that understands these little details that make a big difference. I was on 10 podcasts last week. Yeah, okay, so what? Martha Stewart's podcast is not going to help you if you're JB Hunt.
Right. Yeah. And you know what started for me back in 2018? Um, I saw a podcast with Grant Cardone, the 10X,
Hey, grind while they sleep, baby.
and he said, get on at least 5 podcasts a year for brand awareness and helping you sell more. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was on this journey to do more digital marketing, get more deals across the finish line digitally, and travel less coast to coast, right?
right.
And no, there's a place for traveling on site, so I'm not trying to say that, but I 10x my own pipeline by using social media and sales automations to the right targets, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then from then on, we started working with clients to do the same things, and it's been really, really fun going back 7 years. And like you, I've been using targeted outreach to C-level and founders, owners, to get, that audience into what we're working on here. And it's been years of doing that. And, lo and behold, it works if you target the right people and the right audience.
And that's exactly right. And it's not just the demographic you just showed. There's more to it behind that, and maybe that's some of the secret sauce. Because there's, and the reason I said five is we've got about, I don't know, I haven't counted up all the different, you know, trade secrets or secret sauce pieces, that items, ingredients in our recipe that we could divulge. But one of them is that that's just the tip of the iceberg. Is knowing that you want to hit, you know, transportation or fleet executives at this level. Because sometimes you think, oh, I got to go for the CEO. Wrong guy. Maybe it's the mid-level guy. Mid-level guy, it's the wrong guy. I'm selling maintenance stuff. That doesn't mean you sell to the maintenance guy. It might be a CFO target, right? You've got to understand those different types of things. And that's the extra secret sauce that research and people do. And maybe it's laziness, or maybe it's just that you're just not the expert. So hire somebody who is.
Right,
Get
right,
it done.
absolutely. Yep. The targeting is extremely important and
Mm,
use media within the right target audience. Very, very.
right.
Uh,
Extremely important.
yep. Number
Yeah.
two tip, utilize video and not audio alone. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
many reasons, but a couple of them, for one, like on LinkedIn, for example, video, you see the person, you see the graphics, you see the pitch, and you can't do that through a radio, right? The logo, the benefit statements, the video with like scrolling the website for and talking about the benefits. So we do that all the time.
The cool UI of what you've got there. I mean, you spend a lot of money on the UI, and just, not displaying it when you're advertising is silly. If you got a cool dispatch, and stuff like. Plus, video. When you got a couple of good looking guys like us, you need a video.
Well, you need video overlaid on top of this is what you need actually.
Well, I don't know. I was going for the whole sex sells type of thing, but that fell. Obviously, that doesn't work in our case.
Oh, yeah, but no, video is just more interactive.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if
Well,
somebody's
people
driving,
will stop and look at action before they're going to look at a still picture and listen to something.
that's true. And
I
if they
mean,
want to listen to your podcast, which I have people tell me, they listen to our podcast while they're working out. That's cool.
sure.
They can listen, but when they're at a place that they can watch, they watch, right?
Well,
So
and the idea there with the podcast is getting people to understand and get interested in the podcast. And where does that happen? Throughout the day, we go, oh, look at that podcast. I'm going to have to bookmark that. They didn't go, oh, listen to that because they're just listening to streaming thing. They see it on LinkedIn. They see it on YouTube. They see it on Facebook. They see it on Instagram. They see it right on X, whatever it happens to be, and then they get there. Nobody scrolls X just with an earbud in,
no, no, exactly. No,
except for some psycho. Of
I listen to podcasts as well, and sometimes I'm driving. I don't watch it, of course. That would be
course.
a no-no. But I can listen. But I found it because it was a video reel, and I went, "Ooh, I like that podcast. That's cool." And then I
Yeah. Yeah.
listen to it. So.
Listen, I can't even look down at my phone and like change my music, you know, uh, feed without almost killing myself. I'm not coordinated enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm like walking on a treadmill or doing a stairmaster or something like that, I'll die if I do
Right.
that.
The last thing I want to do is hurt somebody while I'm working out.
Especially me.
So absolutely. So that's a big one. You can still do audio. I mean, you can use the audio, but do video because it's so much more interactive.
It gets that attraction going, right?
Yeah, right. Number three for podcasts, when you go onto a show, don't read from a script, use stories, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I've interviewed a lot of people. Michael, I would venture to say you've probably interviewed three times as many as I have. And I've had some that tried to read from a script. They got to get these 7 points across.
Oh,
And
that's awful.
it is. And they jump around and they're like, oh, I got to get that point in. I got to get this point in. Basically, let the stories flow, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
recommend jot down a few bullet points and make sure you get a script of just topics from that person, right? That-
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, look, if you're a guest, right, and you're going to pay somebody to be on it, this is the fallacy or the thing that irritated me the most. I hated getting a paid interview because most of the time, because you got a script and you got this list of questions you're allowed to ask, and you can't go off script. You can't have any fun. It's this, and this. And invariably, as soon as you ask the first question, they puke all over you with the next seven answers. And then you're like, okay, great.
well,
Now
great.
we got 10
Now,
more minutes left. So I can't ask you anything else because you get mad. So yeah, you're right. Here's the seven. Get on the right podcast, right? Use the video and understand and work with them to understand that guy's a professional. If you send me seven topics, I'll hit all seven topics. I'll get to them. I promise you.
right. Exactly. Yeah. When I invite somebody to come on,
Right.
and you as well, supply chain innovators, we have topics that, hey, we're going to talk about these things, but
Yes.
we make sure that we're not going, question number one is da 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 da. No, it's, hey, tell me about your background. What kind of problems are you solving? What are some of the key challenges? What are some of the keys to success, right? But don't if you're a guest, right? And you know,
Yeah.
be careful not to try and read from a paragraph and have five things you're going to get across. Let it flow. People remember stories, so let it flow, and it'll happen a lot
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. And they'll react to something funny. You know what I mean? They're not going to react to do not read from a script, use stories. When you are getting set up for an interview, be sure not to read from a script. It is not natural and does not flow well for the listener.
Exactly.
Not
Right.
very good, is it?
Right.
Not very good.
Yep.
Not very good.
Exactly. We have a full newsletter coming out with this as well, but I wouldn't read from the newsletter. That'd
No.
be a no
Trust me,
go.
folks. We have five topics we're going to hit. In fact, Andy mentioned it at the beginning, but we haven't read from a script yet.
That's right. Exactly right. Absolutely. Um, Number four, be yourself. Don't pretend to be something you're not, right? It's another thing I see. I was, I was very fortunate. Michael, you invited me with you and Dooner. We did
Yeah.
some things together on your podcast when you were at Freight Waves. And
Yep.
if I would have come in there with purple hair and tried to make a punchline, and we're talking about philanthropy at the time, is that a
Yeah. We
good thing?
were.
Right?
No, it's really not.
And hit a gong, gong, like you got to be yourself, right? You can't
You
don't
do.
try and be something that you're not. If you're trying to do a punchline on every single question and you're not a comedian, well, it's probably not going to flow that great, to be honest, right? So,
Yeah, no, it's probably not. It's probably not. But the other thing was too is that focused be I would add to this, right? Be yourself and not don't pretend to be somebody else. Fantastic advice. But I would almost say that you should go the extra mile to try and be yourself, or to show that you're personable, right? That you are open and be. It's hard to. It's kind of an oxymoron to say try and be genuine, right? I mean, right? It doesn't sound
Right.
right,
Be
but
more genuine. Yeah.
I guess trying to be genuine would really in translation would be try to pull down those barriers that prevent you from being genuine,
Right. Right. And just
right?
talk, right? Talk like we're
Yeah,
doing. Talk back
yeah.
and forth. And don't, again, that's one of the things I've seen. They'll have this thing they need to say. We have been in business since 1956 and we have done this and done that in 1,400 warehouses and this thing happened. And it's like, okay, for one,
Listen,
they're not going
is
to.
it? They're not going to remember it. Just think to yourself: is it more interesting when two people that don't know each other sit down behind you when you're sitting in those little chairs waiting at your gate at the airport and start talking to each other, and you're on the other side just eavesdropping, right? And one of them's like 18 and the other one's like 74. And they start talking. Is that more interesting than an infomercial?
Much, much more interesting for sure.
Right. There you go. This
That
is
is
what I'm talking about, right? Eavesdropping on those two every day of the week.
Yep.
Before I'm watching, the Sham Wow guy. Of course, that's a bad analogy. Sham Wow guy was was amazing. Remember
Yeah.
him?
One of the other things I've noticed, like people come onto a podcast and think they have to like cuss 10 times. And it's like, that's not the person I was talking with before. It's like they're trying to controversial, be controversial, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's not
yeah,
something that you need to do. People that listen to podcasts are looking for some keys to success, things they can implement, things they can
yeah.
do to move themselves forward or move their company forward, right? And you don't need to drop three F bombs to get their attention. You really don't, honestly.
You really don't. It's not genuine. It's not cool. It's people that shows that you're really pretending to be somebody else.
Right.
Okay, that's not how normal people just talk and speak, right? I mean, we have a president right now who just talks like a normal guy, and it drives people crazy. And then they try to mimic that, but it just comes out with all a bunch of profane language and stuff. And it's like, really, that's not that that's just so not genuine, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. So just to be yourself. I mean,
Just be yourself.
that's it in a nutshell, really. Number five, utilize your media to drive sales. This is one I've seen companies do really well, and I've seen companies fall completely flat. So, if you're going to do a feature podcast about yourself and your solutions and
Yeah,
talking through it in your background and keys to success and so forth, get your team ready, right? I'm going to be on this show. We're going to use it to do outreach, both cold outreach and warm, you know, nurturing as well.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
companies that do this and they get their people involved in commenting, liking, sharing, reposting, putting it in an email, putting it on their website, like interviewed by, Green Path Tech. Check it out, right? The companies that do that really well, they are getting traction and they're getting inbound results from it. The ones that just like they're on a podcast, they prepared for who knows how long, right? 30, 45 minutes, an hour to be on this podcast, and then they don't do anything with it, right? It's like, wah, wah,
yeah.
wah, wah, you know. Uh,
Well, clipping it up, sending it out, promoting it yourself, et cetera. Those are all important things, like you're saying. Engaging with it is super important,
yep.
right? Commenting on it, responding to other comments on it. These are very, very important things when somebody said when they go out there, especially somebody tags you, tag them back and respond.
I'll give you an example of a couple of people that did it really well. Prasad Galapali and Matthew Silver.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
they got tons of interactions and follows and reposts and shares and they're answering questions. I mean, it's they know how to do it, right? And but then there's been other ones that spent all this time and didn't do much with it. So really it is a matter of getting leadership, sales, and marketing and your staff involved. Like, hey guys, we've got a podcast coming out in a few days. Let's utilize it. And when they do that, hey, the results are awesome.
No,
But
they really are. And yeah, I'm glad you brought up Prasad, because like if you want to learn how to be interviewed and be a founder and a CEO and all that kind of stuff and be yourself and do a great job and be personable, there's your guy.
yeah,
There's none better. There's nobody better to interview than him. I mean, there's a lot of great, but that are equal, but I can't think of a better example than Prasad. Prasad's fantastic to
and he's
interview. He's
just
awesome.
himself, but he also is very smart in that, hey, I'm going to do this show. Let's use it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
for nurturing your current clients or even, your hot prospects and cold. Like
Yeah.
here's Prasad being featured about Q'd. What
Yep.
is Q'd? What are you solving? What are you doing out there?
Right.
Um, Great example. Um,
Fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
he's
So
awesome.
I've
He's
seen,
awesome.
companies do it really well and companies that just they don't use it. They don't utilize it basically. So definitely work on a plan of how do we get this out when we do this media. How we're going to get it out. And we certainly work with clients to do that all the time. Um, our typical campaign will target anywhere from like 2,400 to 7,200 executives with value attraction. What is value attraction? Media that shows a problem that's being solved.
Mhm.
That's value attraction, right?
Right.
And so that's something that we do all the time. So those are the, top five tips. And this will be in the Supply Chain Insiders newsletter as well with a lot more detailed stories and do's, don'ts, tips. It's all going to be there as well. But those are some big ones right there.
Fantastic. I'm going to write those down.
I think you've got a copy of this.
I may have it somewhere. I'm not sure.
Oh man. But it's always fun, podcasting about revenue growth and tips, right? Tips. And don't do this like I've done, things that I wish I could go back and go, why'd I do that?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
hindsight's always 2020. So we hope these tips will help you in your media and your strategy as well. So that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody, and we will see you again on the next one. Take care.
Right on. Peace and love, everybody.